PTSD is crippling, absolutely crippling. I finally read the closing email for my coercive control today. It was sent on the 31st of January, but I'd not been able to do it. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what she'd actually written. That the statements provided for him could almost make him a victim. This is the man who abused a woman before me for 10 years, whose family member provided a statement. I'd never met that girl, never met her family member, but she'd watched her sister go through hell. Was it his parents? The parents that wouldn't have him in their house? The parents that had their drugs grown in their house, the house raided? Or the step-parent that wouldn't let him be around her children, or found needles in the house next to theirs that he stayed in? Is it that one? Is it the parent that threatened my nursing registration if I went to the police? Same parent whose sibling was high up in the police? Was it his old boss? Because apparently I cost him his job. I cost him his job when he lost his licence for drink driving, disappeared whilst having an affair with a supplier in Hungary after we'd just moved into a house. Of course, he'd threatened to kill himself first if I didn't take him back after he'd gone missing and found at a local suicide spot on the 26th of June 2022. Police attended the next day and he told them that he was going to stay with his mum. But I got messages off them saying that they wouldn't have him there. So, of his mum and his stepdad. So who's given these? Or is it the girl that he was trying to groom again from Hungary? What? And then the financial side. They couldn't prove financial abuse because what? Because from within 13 days of meeting him, he used my other bank card. So they couldn't prove what it was spent on. And it could be seen that I was doing that. What? Because he transferred his benefits into my bank after he lost the third job. He lost that job because he refused to go to a conduct meeting. His conduct had fallen a little bit. But no, not the drink driving, not the fact that his conduct had been poor for 6 months. It was the fact that when I found out I had just paid all of my life savings, my divorce settlement, on a deposit. When I had just paid all of that out, everything out, for a family home, as soon as I paid everything, my life savings, a deposit, his behaviour changed, drink driving started again. And off he went to Hungary for the affair that he claimed he wasn't having. I found out that day and fainted and smacked my head on the fireplace. And then I did email his boss. It actually wasn't a bad email either. I was working at Castellum in Welshpool at the time. I sent that and then I drove his car, the £7,000 car that I paid for him out of my money. The second car, because the first one went wrong, but I'd paid for that one to be fixed too because he didn't have any money, because his ex had taken all his money and got him in loads of debt as well. Again, lies. Paid them off too. He forgot to tell me about them when we were buying a house. So what? Because when he started to get PIP, he paid the money into the account, that was classed as what? Or was the financial abuse when he was living in his car, as he claims, and was staying with his mum because I wouldn't have him back that summer? But then he threatened to kill himself all the time, or get police to ring me in the middle of the night, or everything was beautiful and nothing hurt. It's tattooed on his arm, it's what he wants on his gravestone. But that was the phrase I heard before he would vanish into thin air, and everybody would panic, waiting for somebody to have killed themselves. That's what he would do. So he was living homeless, according to him, sleeping in his car. He wasn't, he was at his mum's. I don't know how you can sleep in a car either, once you've smashed it into a roundabout and had it written off because you're pissed. But he lost his driving licence. So did I cost him his job when he emotionally abused me and psychologically tormented me to despair? And then I had to drive him an hour round trip to work, or I was accused of killing his mum. Was that me financially abusing him? Being absolutely worn out? Did I cost him his job because he lost his driving licence? Or was it the conduct meeting that he wouldn't go to for his performance for 6 months? So there's so many inconsistencies these statements don't support, or there's a few of them out of the... What about the independent witness that saw him screaming and shouting at me and then me having to go in and pay for his fuel? Or my family, my kids, my work, everybody. But no, he knows how to manipulate, and that's... What about the next woman that he's with? That's not... Like, I just don't get it. I don't understand how... Because he paid benefits into a bank. Because if he did have money, he would get pissed and put our child at risk. And I'm not sure how he contributed when he spent more than he ever brought in. I didn't even have work tights the day before I left because he needed a new belt and a tattoo studio. We all went without. Everybody went without because he needed everything. His family knew that. His mum was lending him money to pay his tax when I met him. I didn't know that at the time. But it was my fault. He gave up his lifestyle because of me. Him and his ex used to do X, Y and Z. His ex used to have hundreds of pounds worth of makeup, and I very, very much doubt that now. I just feel for the next woman. I really do. And I feel for my child that now becomes the weapon to control. Because the damage that he does is unbelievable. It really is. Maybe I should have nagged early help. Maybe I should have nagged the police every 5 minutes. Maybe I should have done the same with Kafkas. Just send emails to everybody, constantly chasing them. All the time. Just get my own way. Or maybe I should have done more. Or cried. I could have just cried at everyone. That's another way of doing it. Maybe I could have threatened them all with suicide every 5 minutes to get my own way. Maybe I could have treated people the way he has for years and years and years. Because when you have no remorse, no empathy, no humanity, and you use everybody around you to get exactly what you want, seems to be the way that you just get everything. You get to harm others to such a degree, get away with abusing kids, women, kids, anyone. Doesn't matter. Got a bit of a pattern established, but that doesn't matter. There's other points and lies that have been brought up in it, but my God, I did laugh when I read the financial inside, because I was crying on the outside, because £160,000 I brought into my household over a 4-year period with him. He bought less than 40,000, and out of that, £13,907 was spent in the last year together on his things, his business, his everything. Contribute to our household. He financially crippled me. And then when I applied for CMA, and I didn't care if I got it, he used to threaten me with £7 a fucking week. I won't say my name. £7 a fucking week if I left him. I didn't want the £7 a week, but it was interesting to see if he was going to control it. And he did. They couldn't find him at first, but I provided the details that he's given to the court. Then they did find him. So he wanted to set up direct pay. Didn't pay that for 2 months. So they now take it out of his benefits. And it's not £7 a week, it's less than that. But 16 months on, I don't need his money. I never needed his money. He didn't bring any money in. To go from not being able to afford basics to I bought my car. I can pay my mortgage now. He's let the 8 months. 8 months he made me wait to sign the house. A house that he never contributed to the mortgage payments, to the deposit. Claims he did, but he didn't. It was my divorce settlement that paid the deposit on my house after I'd paid all of his debts off. But no consequences. No consequences to his actions. So he's threatening to kill yourself every 5 minutes, or leaving somebody so psychologically screwed and on edge and walking on eggshells and constantly hypervigilant, scared of a reaction. That's not actually psychological abuse anymore. Don't know. But what's scary is that, so he became more tactful and more clever with me after being with his ex for 10 years. We won't even factor in the woman that he flew to China and married. What about this next woman? Because if he's already cottoned on and has done the things he did with me, what's he going to do with the next? And that scares me. It scares me even more that she might have kids. Because my kids are still damaged from him. So instead, I have to provide proof that I have lost the vast amount of weight I have in a space of time. And I have to provide proof of a diagnosis of PTSD. Whilst he provided a letter from a GP that didn't even know him about his mental health, not going back to the age of 13 and dealing drugs and everything else that's all there on his record. He has a hell of a past and a history, and he gets to play the victim, the doting dad who wasn't actually supervising the child for over half of his life, or the doting dad that dropped the child into the middle of the road when he was 10 months old because he was so pissed, and the 8-year-old had to pick him up out of it. Or the doting dad that got his first PIP payment on the 7th of March 23, picked his son up, went straight to the shop, got pissed and was paralytic, fast asleep with his head down, whilst the toddler was running around half naked with an open door. So then again, didn't have him. So when was this doting dad, this good father? Because at the beginning of 22, I was told that stop, not 22, 23, 24, God, these years have gone, I've lost so many of them. When I started some counselling at the beginning of 24, and the counsellor said to me, stop saying he loves him. He doesn't love. Tell me what love is. Love's a verb, she said. It's a doing word. What has he done for him that shows you or tells you that he loves him? But that was it. It wasn't love, it was ownership. And then going back through the messages, that was brought up the day I found out I was pregnant. Ownership. He told me not to bring up ownership. And nobody brought up bloody ownership. It was gaslighting, but I didn't know what that was at the time. Because he now owned him. And that's what it's been about. Control and ownership. And when you remove that from a narcissist, God help you.